I start, I want to introduce Sweeney, who's on the side over here, who is our medical officer. So she'll be back at the end. If you have any questions or queries, I know we have medical and dietary information for you and your children, but if there's any specific needs or if your child has a high risk medical need, please do come and speak to Mr. Sweeney at the end to make sure we have all that information. I know lots of conversations have already happened. I think just to be sure on the safe side and we know what's going on with medicine. I will talk about medicine in a bit and generic kind of health or related medicine. So anything specific that you're not taught your child needs to take at certain times, please you can come back and see Mr. Sweeney at the end. So before I was going to say thank you for coming this evening, obviously you're quite excited about the trip. It's a very busy week, and you might have heard we have Ofsted coming in tomorrow now. So just add something. So I ran a marathon on Sunday, Ofsted trip, vaccinations tomorrow, open mornings, things for everything. But this is school life, and obviously some schools might want to cancel these events and go actually, we'll cancel next week because of, and I'll talk about how we work towards the end. But the idea is, I know some schools might just say actually it's a lot to take on, but we recognise the importance of this trip and how much it will bring the cohort together along with the staff as well. So we are really excited about it. So yes, there's a lot going on at the moment. I'm going to go through a few things and hopefully answer all your questions. I am recording this, so I will send the presentation out live afterwards, so you can access it at home as well. And I will go through on Thursday morning with the students. I will do kind of a pre-trip briefing, so they have the information as well. So don't feel like you have to write everything down, the slides, and hopefully the sound is all recording now, so we can pick that all up and watch it at home. And before I start, I obviously want to introduce myself. I'm Miss Sarah. I didn't get to meet you all in July for the transition events. So, and I'm hopefully your students, your children have had a fantastic start. And I do believe they have. So many positive things happening. So the extracurricular activities going on in school, it is fantastic seeing so many Year 7s engaging with those and getting into clubs and events. And there's lots of things happening for them to be involved with. I will say, uniform and PE kit, I think we need to make sure things are labelled at home. There's a lot of things going missing, and I think that responsibility of looking after your blades and your PE and your jacket, the idea of students need to take responsibility for their belongings. And please make sure it's labelled, because if there's a name in it, it will find its way back to your child, definitely. So it's important to have that. Also, you have heard of some this week, obviously reminding about WhatsApp and social media. WhatsApp age limit is 16, so we would not be recommending Year 7s to have WhatsApp. We hear through the grapevine there is maybe a whole year of WhatsApp that we're going to be kind of telling students they need to leave because it's not productive, it's not going to be helpful, it's going to damage their mental health, and it's not going to cause them help with any supportive measures. So the idea is please reiterate those conversations at home. WhatsApp is 16, as is Instagram and other social media platforms as well. So that's just a reminder from us really from our position and our awareness recently. To make you keep in the loop, on Friday the 15th, when we come back from the trip, we're going to be doing a celebration event on the afternoon. So more details will come out later this week, early next week, about how that's going to look. But the idea is we're kind of finish the first term, hopefully still standing and not kind of kicking off. Getting to the end, celebrating all that has gone on this term, because it is a big change, especially from the last few years. We know it is a big transition to secondary school. But I hope you feel through the communication, through the information we shared in transition, that your child has been supported and they are transitioning steadily. Recognise some might do that at a much faster pace. So I know we do have lots of tears, and tears normally in the last few weeks when they are tired. So, and that's normal for them to feel that way. So if that is your child, your daughter feeling quite upset at home, that is normal, and friendships and things do settle, especially as we move over to the term. But to the trip. So the idea, the aim of the trip, all encompassing really, trying to make sure the students really can have that transition event, that they can work together as a team, they can make new friends, obviously understanding outdoor education and the importance we place on this in school, recognising as a PE teacher, we can play netball, we do our sports, but the activities they're going to get involved with next week will really help them conquer their fears and bravery and resilience and experiencing living away from home. I know through the Firefly, some parents have said that their child is the first trip away, or they're feeling very anxious. So please recognise that I do read those, and that information will go to the staff body and a team of staff that are coming with us. So we will be aware of if students are really upset at night time, and I'm happy to have kind of conversations about if there is severe levels of anxiety. We will be able to help support your daughter through that. So please be reassured. We've done these year 7 trips. But the last year 7 camping trip we did third week of term, and it was camping, so it was very cold at night. There was very little sleep happening. So there was lots of emotions, lots of tears, mainly for me. But we have done, and the idea is the resilience they can build through that, and they're getting through those 2 days as a team, as a collective, is really important. So that's obviously to make sure you're aware of the aims and why we do these trips. I have a short video here to play of where we're going, Condover Hall in. So I'm hoping the weather is how it looks there, and that's what they've told me, that sunny weather. But you can kind of see the site, and you'll see this one. We have the map of the site, and you can see the main building. I'll talk about the activities. They will be doing abseiling, climbing, ropes activities, tunnelling. They're doing some other little bits and bobs as well. And our blocks, in terms of, we have Owen, Richmond, Hancock, and Thorpe as our accommodation blocks. So you can see it will be spread out 1, 2, 3, 4 accommodation in a second. But you can kind of see the size of the sites. There will be other schools there at the same time, but we are in the blocks solely ourselves. Just to give you some information about the company, making sure it is governed, created and accredited. So these are all the badges, and I'll talk about obviously the insurance with COVID as well. So that's obviously for your reinsurance that we've gone with a company who've done many of these before and have lots of accreditations that are reliable. So in terms of the accommodation, as I've said, there are 4 different blocks. You can see a picture here of a student block. Students are placed in form groups, so they're going to be placed by their form tutor into the dormitory. I know a lot of the students are worried about who they're going to be. The idea is that the aim is to make new friends, and we want to build that resilience and build that bravery and meeting new people and overcoming challenges such as sharing rooms with people that you might not have had much connection with over the past few weeks. So the idea is that they will be in the form groups, and the rooms are from 4s up to 8s. So that's the biggest, the largest they go. There were some 12s available, but I think too many. I think 12 7s in the room is a bit too much. I think so. We kind of managed to be able to split the students quite nicely. We have rooms of 8, mostly en suites. Some of them haven't got an en suite in the class inside the room, but there is one in the corridor. So I actually showing maps as well where all the rooms are, so you can see where the toilets are blocked. Staff are then spread out. We have teacher rooms on every floor and every block in different areas, so there'll always be staff around at night and teachers and instructors. Bedding is included. You can see some lovely bedding available there, and they have GCA staff available. Any problems, and there's also going to be a Langley staff member on duty. The idea is that we'll have time bed night lights out by 10, and normally staff will do patrol and make sure all quiet and settled, and going back and keeping them settled, and going back again and again. But the idea is that we'll make sure that I'm tired the next day, I'll be in the second room. It's making sure that the students know that we'll have a kind of a duty rota. So if there is an emergency night, I'm first day qualified, so I'll be first aid of the group as well, but also there will be JT staff available. And if there's an issue in the evening, if there's an emergency, we'll wake up any staff member, we'll have a clear, like, which staff member is going at which time. So all staff are woken up by. Well, the year 7 trip was quite a good story. 2 years ago, year 7 trip, the girls had been up about midnight, 1 o'clock, so I already got out of bed with the sleeping bag and all the layers on and quiet, get back into bed, just going to sleep and this is Seja. That's not my name, but okay. My tooth's fallen out. Oh, what do you want me to do about it? I don't know. And then I was like, why did you go there? I don't know, what do we do? I don't know. I was like, oh, show back to bed. So I can't do much at that point. But the idea is I will pre-warn them about anything that is important at night. Obviously, we are there to support them and can help. The centre doors are locked and secure, so we know that we are safe at night as well. Just to reiterate about the security, they will have staff on duty, so there are 16 activity groups during the day, and these are going to be split across the cohort. So although they're going to be in their dormitories with their form group, they'll be in groups, activity groups with students from different form groups. We do want them to get to know other people, and we're going to try and look at those groups and make sure we have a nice mix of the students there. There'll be a language member of staff with each group, and they'll stay with that group at that time, most likely. We'll also have staff leaders, and there'll be 25 contacts. So I will take the school mobile with me. If there's any emergencies, if anything you need to contact, that can go through reception as normal. So if I need to contact the member of staff on site, they will even give you the number and such. We have had before students who are very anxious. Obviously, I will have all your contact details. If we need to, if I feel necessary, I can call through the school phone because no students will be bringing their mobile devices with them. So yeah, so we've got lots of information available there. Travel, we are going travelling by 5 coaches, 236 students going, so quite a few. We've got DJ coaches who we've used previously for music travel tours, so they are a reliable company we have used many times before. On the days of travel, I'd like students to wear trainers, they can wear leggings, trousers, and their kind of house t-shirt as their like top layer. So when we get off, there will be a stop off for lunch that we can then all see them, we know, we can count them on, and we can clearly see they're in their houses. So obviously they might get warm, they can pick things off, but ideally we have this house t-shirt as the top layer for them. On the trip, there's going to be a lunch stop en route. So we'll leave school at 9 AM. I ask that students are in sports hall at 8 o'clock on the Monday morning. So I'll make sure we open the gates a little bit early, and they'll talk about the kit bags. Monday, 8 o'clock in the sports hall, we'll register them, get them checked on the coach at 8:30, depart by 9. Because there's always things to collect and missing items, so to speak. And then we'll arrive at Condover Hall at 2. They don't physically let us in until then, so we'll be at Condover Hall at 2. And then activities start at 3:45, so a period of time where we can get to familiarise ourselves with the site, get bags dropped off, and then we'll start our first activity. On a departure day, so on Wednesday, the 13th, we leave Condover Hall. We'll have a lunch, probably a packed lunch, provided by Condover Hall, and we'll leave about 12:30. They're going to arrive at school for 5:30, and we'll send you a text messaging system that can message the contact, the priority 1 contact, when we know about an hour away. So I'll sort of check the traffic because we'll be going around Birmingham, you know, 5 we hope it's okay. But Mr. Maisie, what should we know? So our school Instagram, our school Twitter is run by Mr. Maisie, who's the head of Year 7. So he will update when we're leaving. So we'll make sure those rough estimates available for you. There's testing going to be happening in school when the students return, which I'll get to. I'm going to leave COVID to the end because I don't want to talk about it really, but it is in the figures. So I'll talk about the testing shortly. This is obviously itinerary of the days and what we're going to be doing. So you can see how we leave school at 8, and then we'll be then travelling to Condover Hall. We arrive and pack, we have activities, dinner. Then the group are split into 2 for the evening. So on one evening they'll do a silent disco, the other evening they then do a campfire, swap the other, and then we have light craft sleep. And then the next day you can see how busy Tuesday is with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 activities in the day. So lots of activities for them to do. And I'll show you the next slide, shows you the different activities for breakfast, dinner, lunch, obviously the important things as well. So that's obviously like an example plan of what we're doing. This just shows you kind of how Tuesday looks, and this is really more for the students when I go through that with them. This will be, people take lots of photos. This will be on, I will be sending this via email. So there's lots of time you can see basically how the day will run, but that really is for students, so you can kind of see it's a busy day. This is our plan. I know you can't read it very well, but this is trying to fit all 16 in. So you can see, for example, our group 1, we do abseiling, art, fun, so archery, gladiator, climbing, aerial trek, campfire, tunnelling, and team challenge. So you can see there's lots of different activities. We are doing no water-based activities, so all land-based. So you can see the different activities and slots and timings for the students to participate in. And on the Wednesday morning, we do an activity before we depart. So making sure that the rooms are tidy the night before, and then we'll be getting ready, activity, and then heading home. All groups will do abseiling archery. So all of us have got those definite ones planned in. And then most groups, the idea is there's combinations of sites they can fix into the climbing, conquest. I think it's laser conquest, but I don't know by the website. Gladiator, aerial trek, tunnelling, initiative exercises, and Jacob's ladder. So you can just see here, this link in the top right corner will take you to the Condover Hall website, and you can click and you can see some of these different activities if you so wish to. But you can see lots of different events, team building, conquering fears, working together collectively. An example of the menu, and I thank you completed that for information, so you can see it is very student choice. You can see the video, buffet options, and choose from, so hopefully we'll cater for all foods, and then they know what they can have there. So that's an example of the food that might be available. If you've got any concerns about dietary, please just speak to myself, then on Mrs. Sweeney at the end. We can make sure we've got that information down. Oh, packed lunch from day 1. And then we'll have a packed lunch on departure. So on the last day, on the Wednesday, there'll be a baguette and wrap bar. So they'll have a sandwich before we leave. I did send this out on the letter before, just a quick list of information, just to give you a rough idea of what they'll need for the time. I am asking for students to pack their belongings in the Langley, so massive suitcases. And, it's only 2 nights. So the Langley PE bags are small rectangular size bags, so hopefully you should be able to fit everything in there that can go in the hold, and probably maybe another little bag with the school rucksack with their pack lunching for the bus. So the idea is everything can go underneath, but they should be able to fit things in a small bag. We don't need copious amounts of things and belongings them to take. Again, the weather looks quite nice, so there's a gloves and hat. We are doing the campfire 7 till 9, so this time of the evening does get a little bit colder. Another up north, so it's making sure we are prepared for that, and we'll be outside for the campfire fire. I've heard that disposable cameras can't be purchased. I don't have any more. We've won a long time, but I'm not sure, because the idea is we don't want things that can get broken, or the idea is students belongings. So that's obviously some kit lift information. The following activities need specific clothing. So we are doing abseiling, aerial trek, and climbing. So the idea is shoulders covered and knee-length shorts as a minimum. So you can see that leggings, the tracksuit bottoms will be fine for those. Probably to wear the harnesses, making sure that then it's not rubbing on those strappy tops. Also, we ask that clothing is appropriate for a trip, so no strap tops or hot pants. They'll need long sleeves for archery, because when you do archery, you pull the back. Bow. And it can rub your arms, so then you have to wear a protector. So the idea is long sleeves we need, and that could be a jumper or a long sleeve t-shirt, and tunnelling, obviously they are going to be falling, so we need their knees covered. So I think that's just a little kind of reminder. It's all covered in the list before, but just a reminder. There is going to be a tuck shop, and hopefully you have time, so maximum £5 per student, please. We don't want lots of students bringing lots of money. So if they want to bring some small change for the tuck shop, they can bring their own snacks. Again, for the coach, we ask them, so it's 3 to 4 hours drive, they shouldn't need them. We'll stop pack lunch. Please don't load them up with sugar and sweets and chocolate, because I don't want to be on stick and coach them. So please don't load them up with lots of sweet things. Obviously, they can have a pack lunch for them, and if you want things to their room, but you don't want to go through cleaning up a lot of mess at the end. So no fizzy drinks, please, at all, and copious amounts. So I might have to confiscate them and eat them. You might have to do, So everything must be nut-free as well, please. So please ensure we are at school, we are nut-free, but anything you pack should be nut-free too. Medication. As I said, so Mrs. Sweeney knows certain students do have specific medication they need to take at specific times. If you obviously you know that some students, such as some of the girls, start their period, we recommend, and as a school, we recommend they carry a paracetamol or kind of small household substitute with them in school. They are allowed to have in their bag in school. They have a 1, 2 in a bag that you are aware of. There's a conversation at home. They can have that because we don't want to be sending students home because they're not feeling well because of it. And same again the trip. If they're feeling unwell, obviously with the trip, you want 1 or 2 paracetamol. It's fine for them to have. Obviously, you will make sure and keep an eye on that. If there's any other medication, if they're on antibiotics for any reason or anything they need to take at certain times, that needs to be in kind of a plastic wallet with a letter signed by you saying what it is they're taking and when they need to take it. Again, if you have any questions, Mrs. Sweeney, if there's medical things and medication for her, please at the end. As I said, no mobile phones at all. I don't think there's no point in going and taking the student 4 hours away to get to know each other for the whole time on their phones. So no phones, please don't allow them to take it. We will be checking, and then any phones will be confiscated and protected at the end. No electronic devices. I think even things like Fitbits, they don't really need them. The charging points, it's all extra things they need. So be mindful. No makeup, no jewellery. Again, they will be confiscated and students will be spoken to regarding that. Hopefully, I find. Obviously, to remind about expectations. This is for students as well. We will be following the school. We are representing the school. When we're out in public, we are representing our school. In the community, on the coach, when we travel. So it's important that students do represent our values and our ethos, and we do set high expectations, but we know we do that for a very good reason. So students will be spoken to, and if I have any concerns about behaviour, we'll be dealing with that, as we would do in the school, so warning, move, remove. We do have spare bedrooms as well, so if students are causing real issues, they will move into separate bedrooms if needed, and they'll be conversated with you either whilst we're away or when we get back on return, and there could be consequences following that, but I hope you don't need to. I've not had to do that so far. It's just we've had some students cleaning things if they've kept me up at night. They've been on charge of sweeping and cleaning duty. Don't really understand. Tired teacher wasn't upstairs, everything else, vaccination, and correct. End of term. So I think the idea is we're here to have fun, we're here to enjoy it, and we want to be able to enjoy it together. So we will need to make sure students follow the expectations. So, COVID. Miss Scott this morning had a call with Public Health England, and they have said and they've agreed that it's okay for us to continue the trip. So we are going ahead. So that's something I want to reassure you that the conversation did happen regarding the trip. Miss Scott spoke very openly and frankly about the numbers in school and the precautionary measures we have in place for COVID. And they were like, no, you're covering everything. Sounds like go ahead. However, make sure you have got some contingencies and precautions, which I'll go into. Our school insurance does cover if a pupil, staff member contracts COVID, does cover the cost to be reimbursed for that. I do understand there are students in terms of any positive cases this week. Obviously, will not be able to travel next week, but money will be coming back to you for that. I also recommend, as a kind of an additional layer, you can buy. I looked last night. You can buy insurance for £4 for 3 days to cover you as well, just to make sure you have got that. I think it'd be worth it to cover that additional cost if there's anything else you'd like to purchase. Should be able to cover any positive tests. So the idea is we're asking all staff and students to do lateral flow tests on Saturday and Sunday. The idea is on the Saturday you could pick up any, the majority of the tests, any, hopefully there's none, but then you have time to do a PCR test and get the results back prior to then Sunday. And obviously then Sunday, it's just making sure, because they could have picked something up on Saturday. So we know that when we get to the coach, we can cut everything we can to minimise. And I do understand if your child does test positive, I understand that's going to be really sad for them, and I do understand and appreciate that it's not going to be ideal. But we have to try. I want to make sure we can go ahead with this and do as best we can to try and get the majority of students to enjoy. So I do understand your child, but we'll try and make sure when they do come back to school that we can maybe do something. I'm hoping, I don't want to plan too far ahead, but the idea is that, and it will be sad. However, that's kind of unfortunately this COVID situation we are in, and we can't hold back for the next 2 years or so. As I said, when they return on Wednesday, we're going to we'll do a lateral flow in school. So when they get off the coach, we're going to lateral flow test all of them, or they will do themselves under supervision before they come home to you. So we kind of know that then for Thursday, there's anything that there is any positive tests, anything that happened over the holiday, over the trip, they will then not then bring that back into school and possibly spread it further. So that's our plan there. There will be COVID bedrooms, so and I'll be taking lateral flow tests with us. So if any student does test positive or does have any symptoms of COVID whilst we're away, we will test them as we're normally doing. If they're negative, we're going to carry on. So I know there are lots of coughs and colds going around at the moment, but the idea is we will have COVID rooms. We'll have PPE, we'll have lateral flow tests with the groups. The groups are going to be we are trying to mix them, but we're going to make sure they're in their rooms, and those rooms are then the coaches. So they're going to be sat near each other, and then the activity groups which will be outside. So we are trying to minimise that risk in the numbers. We have got a disco. I'm not going to say, right, you have to stand in your group and dance here. And so we are going to do as much as we can. Obviously, we'll continue the hand washing and everything else as well. Sadly, though, if a student does test positive whilst on the trip, we will need you to come and collect them from Shropshire, because I know it's kind of at the end. I understand this, it's not ideal. However, we then if we have a student who's positive, we have 240 students plus 70 members of staff. That student can't then travel on the coach back with us. We can't stick a member of staff with them. We're putting them at risk. So I do understand this is, I know, and I'm hoping this won't happen. And obviously, if this does happen, I'll be on the phone to you straight away, and we can make those arrangements. There are COVID rooms. We'll make sure they are COVID safe and secure until hopefully this doesn't need to happen. Yeah, we all we can do is public health said we can do as much as we can to make sure the students are safe. We'll make sure they're washing hands, keeping distance where possible. However, we do need to make sure the safety of staff and the body is the priority really. And we don't want to cancel the trip because this carry on. This could be next year. We can never happen. So I think we need to move forward with these things and do understand that sadly there's things you have to do. Sorry, the question here, probably questions, but
yeah, I can help now, right? Yeah. I mean, about the test, because I learned that, the NHS guideline is within 90 days that the people have been tested positive.
Oh yes, those students, so that those students who have COVID the last 90 days, then don't follow that same procedure. So I know there's a few of them, that's slightly different.
I think the guidelines to extend, they can be extended from
yeah, that's fine. So the students who have COVID, so that's, again, public health has said, obviously, government, so any tests within the last 90 days, I will confirm that and I'll send it out, but I'm pretty certain that is the step to take. Do you have any other COVID questions whilst I'm here? I do have a Q&A thing at the end. I didn't really want COVID questions, but hello, yeah, sorry. Oh, that is positive. Yeah. No, sorry, that means it. So if the data comes back positive, obviously PCR, because we know the lateral flow test is 100% valid. Then, yeah. Yeah, so the lateral flow test. We do think we have, I think people they're not at home available, so if not, we can make sure the students get them on Thursday morning and give them out again. Right.
If they had COVID, do they not?
No, there's a 90-day period of exemption. I will 100% check that because that was my understanding previously. 90 days. Also, yes. Hello.
You mentioned that in the room class between 4 and 8 girls in there.
Yes.
If one of the 4 or 8 girls is positive, the other students are still contact across the field.
Yes, so again, we have to follow the government guidelines on that in terms of close contact within a period in what's advised. But then my understanding is that they'll continue testing like we are in school now, track and trace only by the NHS. We don't do any track and tracing in school, not like before last year. We had students who sat around them. We then contact and send students home. That is obviously goes to the NHS, so we'll inform you and obviously the names of those students who possibly have been in close contact. But the idea is we will speak to students about making sure they are distant in their room and making sure they are as safe as possible.
Then you have to go and get them. What happens to the other 3 or 7? You need to go and get more. One room.
That's not my answer. That's the conversation I had with Scott today, public health, and they've not said that. I will go and confirm that again. It's these things that I'm like, that's a very good question. So close contacts.
Otherwise, you can see how many might have to go and pick up.
Yes, I can actually might be able to go and check in a second. Yes, sorry.
Just in case when things happen, if you get a call with something today, how do you follow what's going on?
Yes, I think I'll send my email to my RCE. So if you email me, we'll make sure that when it comes through, just let me know from that. Kelly.
How do we let you know that they have COVID? My daughter had COVID just before we started school.
Okay. So I'm just going to trusting that everyone is open and honest, and we all can be as transparent as we can with this information. So I'm not asking everyone to validate. I'm not going to do like QR tech coding on the door showing negative. So I think it's that I'll trust it that you're not testing the door for that reason, and that's fine. Obviously, she will let me know when we're there. Like I've had COVID before.
So it's down to her to tell.
Yeah, is that yeah?
She's been tested. She's been really reliable and said that she's.
Okay, I will check that exemption. Yeah, I'll check the exemption because I know things do change. Obviously, it's difficult to try and keep on top of things and the changes that are happening. So we'll double check that and I will clarify the COVID and I'll make sure it comes out to you as well. So it's really clear and transparent. We're trying to do everything we can and recognising it is a bit of a mindset sometimes. I don't see any more hands. The weather looks good for now, but we know that can change quite easily. Again, so most activities can be run. So if there's extreme weather, they've said that the centre manager will implement the centre's wet weather plan, or whatever that may be. But you can see I've kind of looked ahead and you can see 14, 15 degrees, sun. I think it's 20 degrees on Friday. The heat is definitely back up again. But hopefully you can see, I'm keeping an eye on the weather and let students know. Does anyone have any other questions? So there's no time in the timetable, so we've not had something or outdoor in the sorry. Yeah, I think in terms of if they're doing, I think if they're wearing helmets or stuff, it might be safe to take things. So if they can't, if she can bring her own tape, bring that. So PE. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry.
Regarding the bathroom situation, because you've got potentially 6 girls in the room, have they had any guidance about maybe 3 of you have a shower in the morning, 3 of you have a shower in the evening, or is that just completely different?
I think, well, the camping trip, they didn't shower at all, really. Some of them hardly showered, so they just smell a little bit. No, we do, the idea is we will remind them and shower and kind of, the idea is that that's part of that trip, like kind of working out who's going to shower, like not taking, I imagine there's such a big sense of all the hot water, someone's not going to for hours. The idea is I imagine Tuesday evening, probably they're going to want to shower after a long day, but their dinner time is staggered and there is a period of time, still have time to have dinner, wash and everything else. So we'll make, don't worry, we'll be making sure they shower. Yes, that's me. Oh, RC, sorry. RC are my initials, so that's going to staff coding. So my all staff emails are their initials, and at lpgs.bromley.fdh.uk. So RC is just me. Yes. Yes. Is it not all? So, yeah, no, so the only thing is how definitely hair products and things, and again, not focused on our bring massive stuff.
I can just about the regular meditation needed.
Yeah, so we'll have Sarah supplements. The best thing is if she has one with her. Yeah. All the times we'll have Sarah supplements as well. No, yes, I mean, she can cover. She'll need to take it into our activities. So we'll have each pack. We'll have make sure we've got Sarah supplements as well. Yes.
The camera, they haven't got the
Yes, they've been ordered, so they're in the courts already. So we'll give them to them on Thursday morning. Probably. The gamma spots are here. They're in a box. Yes. See that for now. I think that's I'll find out. Hair dries. I don't think so, but yeah, just don't really want them getting washing their hair and they're going out. Say hi, much now. Yes.
Say you do a session to go on Thursday.
Yeah, so I'm going to do kind of a assembly of briefings so they know, and then they'll ask lots of questions about, mainly about who they're with and their friends and stuff. So that's the biggest concern. I do recommend that. But yeah, I think they get to know people. We'll try and put them on the coast with people they are familiar with. Yes. Oh, so you have headphones, and they'll have a little they'll have their own set of different music, and they can change the channel. So someone can be dancing to one music, and then some other people will then slow down to the other. It's an amazing experience because you can stand there. They'll shout, "What are you listening to?" No, see, I did the headphones, and it'll be good. So yes. I forgot about that. I got them wrong. So the company have reassured us, they've told me they've got a book company, they've got something about petrol. So again, all we can do is go by what we've got. So got the coach company. Petrol is another thing to think about. I haven't actually got any petrol at the moment, so I'm going to find petrol in the area, let me know, because I'm out. Do you have any other questions? Oh, gosh, yes, thank you.
Is it ideally to be in the LPPS?
No, it's basically a small holdall. I just don't want them turning up a big suitcase. Yeah, I think it'll like so. I think cabin bag in an airport. It shouldn't. Yeah, I'll say that's a good size cabin bag airport, so they're not lugging things around. Sorry, back. Yeah.
How far in advance does that make people think? Do we need people in on Friday or something?
No, we get on the morning of the trip as well, so we can. If you want to come and drop it off to reception before, maybe not tomorrow, Thursday. That'd be nice. Yeah. So on Monday morning, though, if you have got medication, I'll make sure when the students come through, I'll make sure we've got member staff who are just collecting medication from you to drop them off, or they can hand it over. So I always say any medication, so choosing I've got this, and they can have it signed by you. And then we've got time to make sure we follow up. Mrs. Sweeney, is there anything else on that? And then Mrs. Sweeney, if there's any medical questions, Mrs. Sweeney will be. Yes.
Sorry, I think just want to clarify about the medication. The slide saying with the paracetamol or any fever treatment. So that's not packed with my daughter's luggage and should be handed over to the reception first to the secretary.
Yeah, so we say in terms of if you're happy and if you're comfortable with also having 2 paracetamol in her bag or 2 Calpol tablets in her bag, that you know that she takes it regularly at home, and you're happy for her to have it in her bag and know maybe she gets migraine period. She can then take that on her own. But there's more, if you think actually she does something quite significantly, I need her to have 8 tablets, please hand that in with a note saying this is why, because then we don't want students to be carrying around lots of medicine. Yes. No, we can't give anything. So we cannot give anything apart from bandages, plasters, first aid. We can't give any medicine. So we can't do alcohol or paracetamol or anything else. So yeah, we're not allowed to. Yeah, we've got the disco outfit. If you want, again, an appropriate disco outfit. I don't know. I think this is going to be like a sports or something. So please, nothing, no heels and bangly. But if you want to pick and wear something nice, so I'll be telling this on Thursday. But no, obviously appropriate disco clothing. Yes. Sorry. Yeah, travel fitness as well. That's yeah. If you let them have that, they can keep again 1 or 2 tablets. No, they can keep that. It's just the concern is if they want to have the large, they need a lot of medicines over the next few days. If you know it's 1 travel to before you leave and then 1 on departure, they can have that in their own bag and more reminders to take it. Yes. Oh yeah, Mr. Lacey will be posting things on the Instagram as well, so we'll make sure that things shared and we'll try. He'll be really good at taking a video and picture them from the montage and all as well. Yes. The touch shop? No, they've told me cash, so. Yeah, they're not going to bring cards, so. I hope these sermons don't have like annexes and. Oh yeah, well, I don't want to tell them as late as possible because then if I tell them too soon, then they get probably Thursday morning and Friday morning. So I don't want them to spend loads of time worrying. Like, we're not going to do ideas. Form tutors myself, it's amazing. The FDN team, medical team will look at the lists and make sure they are appropriate. But I think we'll be Thursday, probably Friday morning, most likely find out. But the idea is we can manage it in school. The idea is that's how it is. Thank you for coming. If there's any obviously specific needs, obviously Miss Sweeney is in the corner on the right there. So thank you for coming. Obviously, hopefully, COVID is no more. Thank you. So I'm just going to turn this recording off and I'll.